$10,000 in a month. My negative thoughts are my friend. How many want to make more money? Say yes. Okay, I know for some of you, this is like a new concept, right? And it's like, man, this seems weird and odd. And why would I do this? And I'm so much more comfortable not doing it. And here's the thing. Comfortable is just something that we get used to. I used to be very comfortable as a broke person, someone struggling in my relationships, and I used to be comfortable trying to please other people. It can be very comfortable. And I also had this thing called savior-itis, where I wanted to save everybody, especially my family. And I learned, what if I started to make those things uncomfortable? What if I started to make what was comfortable uncomfortable and started to do things that I felt was uncomfortable and made those comfortable? So I started to do things that were hard, that pushed me, that I didn't like, because I knew I was training my mind and body to say, I do above and beyond, I go above and beyond, just like my ancestor who decided and severed off and threw his hand to nail his goal, right? That probably wasn't comfortable. I don't think that was in his cards of like, today I think I'm going to sever off my hand to get my goal. He probably didn't have that on his vision board looking at it and being like, you know what? I can't wait to just cut my hand off. Probably not, right? But he had the goal, and the goal and the vision drove him to do whatever it took, right? So that's what we want, to be able to do whatever it takes. So give yourself permission to change how you think, how you feel, and how you act. All right. So with that, I want to go over 3 types of things, 3 ways of thinking. Some of us have what's called negative thinking. Some of us have positive thinking. Okay. And what the problem with these 2 types of thinkings is when we have negative thinking, and some of us don't even realize it's negative thinking. Back years ago, when I first started to get into personal development, there was a coach that was teaching me about thoughts and feelings in my head. And I didn't really believe him because I was a happy guy. I was like, man, I feel like my life is good. I feel like I have enough. Even though I was making less than 13 grand a year, I was settling for the beans. And I felt comfortable with it. I was like, I could live off of nothing and I could be happy. I could live out in the woods and survive, and that I'd be happy. So I settled to try to ease my pain. And he told me, he said, if you don't believe you have any negative thoughts, your vision is too low. If you don't think you have any negative thoughts, your vision is too low. And I thought, nah, no way. I was like, I feel really good. And at the time, I didn't even have a monetary goal. So I said, okay, I'm going to put this to the test. You know, I'm all about testing stuff. So I was like, I'm going to focus on making $10,000 in a month, like every single day. That's going to be my laser vision focus. And again, this previous year was 13 grand in a year. So this was almost doing in a year what I did, like in a month, what I did in a year, which was a big deal. And as I put that on, I started to notice I was a really negative thinker. I had some really bad thoughts. As soon as I put a goal to stretch me, oh my goodness, the truth started to manifest of what was really inside of me. You see, I was just too scared to give myself permission to dream bigger because I was afraid of those thoughts and feelings. And I stuffed them for so long. So many of you doing these exercises of getting into the vision, part of it is to purge and help you be aware of the non-ideal thinking that's going on. Some of you have embraced the negative thinking and you like sleep with it every day and every night. And you're like, my negative thoughts are my friend. And it's like Golem or something, you know, and you're just like embracing it. Don't do that. That's not good. Those are the beans, right? But the problem with the negative thinking is it feels heavy, right? So imagine you have a weight and you're like, man, I'm a negative thinker. And you have a heavy load of a lot of negative thoughts, okay? The problem with negative thinking is it probably doesn't do you a whole lot of good, but also fearing it doesn't do a whole lot of good. Now, if I have a lot of negative thinking going on, I'm going to feel off balance. So most people say, well, you just got to balance that, Tyler. You got to override it with a lot of positive thinking. So then you just put a lot of positive thinking on. And you're like, whew, now I'm more balanced in my life because I'm thinking more positive. And I have all the positive thoughts going on. So I'm really thinking and focusing on my positive, just ignoring the negative. Like, hey, I just need more positive, more positive, more positive, more positive. And as you start to get more and more positive, you add on more and more and more, and you get more and more positive, and then you're going to feel off balance again. And it's like, what's going on? I'm doing all this positive thinking, but I'm not getting the result. Anyone ever experienced that from just trying to positively think your way through life? So what happens is instead of just focusing on positive or negative, drop the load. Don't even focus on that. And get into a state of what's called possibility. So possibility thinking is a really powerful way of opportunity and growth. Negative thinking, you can confront it. Positive thinking, you can confront it. Because if you think positive, but you have non-ideal connotations tied to it, it's still not ideal. You could think positive all you want, but if you have old definitions tied to it, you're actually causing yourself a fight-flight response consistently. That's why some of you saying positive things, I see it in your body language, you're having non-ideal reactions because of your definitions. You're judging, you have all these thoughts and feelings because it's weird, it's different, you've not done it before, it feels uncomfortable. And those positive or negative things are full of all these definitions that don't really serve you. So the goal is confront that, align it, and then start getting into a possibility thinking. And what does that mean? So possibility thinking, let's take money, for example. How many want to make more money? Say yes. How many would like to make more money and hold on to more? So not just make more, but keep more. Yes? Okay. So if that's the case, start thinking possibility thinking. Okay. Here's the key. Negative thinking is this. I can't afford that. If something comes my way, if I can't afford it, that is me stepping into a negative way of thinking, right? So one of the best things that I've ever done, and I teach my kids this, is never to say that I can't afford that, because it's not true. You can't. You can figure out a way how to afford it. It's just a limitation that you put on that says, I can't afford that. Well, that's because you have no possibility thinking. You can't create it, is what you're saying. I don't have the energy to come up with something creative, to think outside the box and get outside of my comfort zone to do whatever it takes to make it happen. That's what we say when we say we can't afford something. That's what we're actually saying. So number one, we're immediately lying to ourselves, which causes an integrity break and drops your power. It's powerful when we tell the truth. The truth will set you free. So lies, if truth sets you free, what do lies do? Lies create bondage. So if I am lying to myself, I'm going to feel trapped and I don't feel like I have a lot of freedom in my life. So anytime I feel like I am losing freedom, I always look at my integrity and I say, where am I lying to myself? And I start to write it out. And usually it's not like we run around and lie blatantly, but it's stuff like this, where it's like, oh, I can't afford that. Or we say something that isn't really true. It just covers up the truth. Hey, what's up? I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you would like to learn more about what you just experienced or watched, then in the description, I actually have written a book called The Alignment Effect. And in the book, we go in details of how to align and the power inside of you. So if you'd like to learn how to get results a lot faster and reprogram not just your mind, but your cellular memory, then check out the description and grab that book called Alignment Effect.
it will completely alter how you think and live your life.
Was it me? No, it was each and every one of you. So we all chose to do that. No one forced you. No one made you. You chose, which is freaking awesome.